I actually can't believe how bullish the QNT chart actually looks right now. I mean, it's crazy to me that QNT has been ranging for as long as it has, and it does really remind me back to XRP, right? Because XRP was also in the same boat where it was just ranging and ranging and ranging, and everyone thought to themselves, oh yeah, this is never going to break out, it's never going to do anything, and then almost overnight things change immediately. This is why I've always stated that you need to focus on these very boring charts, because sometimes these very boring charts are some of the best charts to buy into, because we know at some point in time that boring price action will end. And what happens next? Well, it's very exciting, and it does start to really kind of melt a few faces. I mean, even back into November, let me actually open up a new tab and let's go back to XRP, because XRP leading into that November timeframe, let's actually go back to this view just so that we could, really kind of narrow it down. Up until about roughly November of 2024, XRP was extremely boring. This is the 2022 bear market lows leading into November. Do you see all of this price action here? This is from going all the way back to June of 2022 to November of 2024. We are talking about 2+ years of just sideways price action leading into a massive run up in value. In fact, this whole move here from the bear market lows was over an 800% plus move. And I don't believe that XRP is actually done yet. When it comes to QNT, the last major significant move where we were trading at all-time highs was back in August of 2021. We are coming up on 4 years of sideways price action. And I want you guys to understand that the longer that we go sideways, the higher we go. I do think that when QNT officially breaks out, considering the supply metrics behind QNT and even the market cap for QNT, the upside potential on QNT could be extremely significant, and the move will shock most of the crypto space. That's not me hyping it up. That's not me trying to sell you guys the, hype machine or anything like that. That's me being honest with you. I do think that there is a very little amount of QNT out there to fully buy. And when this thing starts to really get hyped up off of price action and FOMO starts to kick in, I do think that it will actually multiply the price in a very fast way. It does remind me back here to 2020 into 2021, where everyone was actually surprised on how fast QNT was moving because they didn't expect it to happen that fast. Well, now we have 4 years of price action that's just very boring and it's just sideways, and we're sitting here waiting for something to happen. Well, when this stops being boring and when we start to actually melt to the upside, that's when everyone will say, why is it moving like this? Well, it's because we have this long extended wedge where we're just going sideways for 1,400 days. I'm watching this one closely because pressure is building behind QNT, and we actually are getting a lot of great updates around Quant as well on their market expansion, building upon their original use case anyways, which is connecting the big financial system that we know of, TradFi, central banks, big banks, back to blockchain. So let's dive on into a few things, and let's actually start off with talking about the chart, right? So the chart, like I said, is going sideways for 1,400 days. We are in this wedge, and we need to be a little bit cautious as we do get to the top of this wedge, because in the past, every single time that we've retested this upper trend line, even going all the way back to 2022, we have rejected off of it and just sold off in a downtrend. Back in March 2024, same thing. Even back in December of 2023, same thing. Back in December of 2024, again, the same exact thing. Now we have three 3-week candles. 3-week candles, guys, in a row where we are just hitting resistance around $106. It's either we break to the upside here and we just go, crazy, or we reject this upper trend line and we possibly retest the midline around like $73, $74 or about like $85. I don't think that we do that. I actually think that we break out here. We just have to wait for something to happen with Bitcoin, because obviously Bitcoin is still the main driver right now. The main thing that I'm looking at is Bitcoin dominance. And the reason why is because the total 3 against Bitcoin is selling off. this is showing us that altcoins are extremely weak against Bitcoin. And this is actually very clear even on the QNT Bitcoin pair. It's trading at, all-time lows since going all the way back to like October of 2024. This thing has been just dead against Bitcoin. And most altcoins are like this. Don't think that, don't feel defeated that QNT is very weak against Bitcoin, because most of the market actually is, considering the fact that, Bitcoin dominance right now is at 60, almost 5%. So right now, most altcoins are just very weak. They're brewing for some sort of big move, which is why I said, QNT has yet to actually catch a break on this chart, because we haven't gotten the opportunity to do so. But I do think that that will change very soon, because I do believe that we will see alt season again. And I do think that these projects like QNT are going to be some of the largest winners, especially considering the fact that the supply metrics on QNT are just some of the best that we have in this space, combined with the massive amount of utility that Quant actually has. 33% less supply than Bitcoin and a massive amount of utility. Now let's actually talk about that. Let's go back here to just recently, June 24th, where today the Quant team attended UK Finance's Digital Innovation Summit. Our founder and CEO, Gilbert Verdian, joined a session on tokenized deposits that explored how to define them, how they can enable a fungible ecosystem, and what's required for successful implementation. What's crazy about this is JP Morgan recently just announced a tokenized deposit, essentially. JPMD, it's a big move, world's largest bank moving into tokenized deposits. It signals a shift. Some highlights from the session: tokenized deposits present an opportunity to add programmability and logic to money to improve manual, cumbersome back office processes. They can be used to outmatch stablecoins with better regulatory and consumer protection embedded into deposits. Tokenized deposits require singleness, elasticity, and integrity. They can enable a multi-issuer ecosystem that combines public and private money. We're at an opportunistic stage where the industry can collectively co-create and define what an interbank network should look like. This is a ChatGPT moment of money at the first time we can make money work for us. And yeah, this is definitely a big move. And what's crazy about this is look at the names. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me zoom in real quick. I'm at 300% plus here. I don't know if you can see some of the names here, but this is Gilbert Verdian sitting next to some significant players from TradFi. We have DLT players here. We have major bank players here. I mean, it's crazy to think that, Quant, a blockchain-based company like this, is sitting next to some of the heaviest hitters in TradFi. And also, by the way, remember that Quant actually joined UK Finance back in October of 2023. A lot of people actually missed this because, again, during that time, barely any retail was actually in the space, but UK Finance acts to enhance competitiveness and support customers and facilitate innovation. Now, they actually represent more than 300 firms across the industry, and it enhances competitiveness, support customers, and facilitates innovation. Quant joined as an associate member. This is no big surprise. We talked about it actually, but there's a lot of great names tied to this. In fact, even the actual digital innovation summits that UK Finance hosts, it actually has some of the biggest banks there. Like, for an example, Deutsche Bank, which, by the way, is jumping into crypto custody. You have NatWest Group. You also have HSBC there. I mean, there's some heavy hitters. But what's crazy about this is we've been talking about how Quant is powering the UK government's innovation around DLT and blockchain forever. In fact, we go all the way back to 2020, where Quant was named a supplier on the UK government's CCS G Cloud 12 framework. Then also on the gov.uk website, Quant is already an established player here. This goes all the way back to 2015. Now, some of the accounts are actually overdue. Next account's made up to September 2024, due by June 30th. It's actually overdue. Definitely watching this a little bit more, but they are still a part of the UK government. And we also have over here from April 17th, 2024, UK Finance engages Quant and R3 to support regulated liability network experimentation phase, which this already got confirmed recently. I think it was around like the end of 2024 that Quant was actually named a technology partner of this with some of the biggest banks, by the way, in the UK. Citi, HSBC. Here's some of the other names: Standard Chartered, NatWest, Visa, MasterCard, HSBC, Barclays. And this is definitely a huge one because this is actually with the Bank of England as well. They actually mentioned that down here. But yes, I also have that announcement back in June of 2023. Quant collaborates with the BIS and the Bank of England on Project Rosalind. It's crazy because when we think about how big Quant has essentially become in the UK, they're a giant. They're a giant, and they are helping the UK advance their DLT and blockchain initiatives. And if you think that this is like bad for other names in this space, it's actually not. Quant is collaborating openly with players like even Ripple. We know this is true because of the Digital Pound Foundation, the Digital Euro Association, but also Quant already connects back to the XRP Ledger, the network, right? Which could easily be tapped in with Ripple, tied into Quant. All of this is true interoperability. Quant is providing true interoperability at the end of the day. But also, they just got a huge reward, actually. This is a award from the Future of Finance. We're delighted to announce that Quant was voted the best programmable payment platform at the Future of Finance Awards last week in London. This recognition is a real testament to the work that we've been putting into building our industry-first platform that's redefining how money moves or works. We'd like to thank our partners, customers, and our team for bringing our vision to life and supporting us in building a programmable money platform fit for the digital economy. And this is all around Quant Flow. What's crazy about this is we just got a big update from Gilbert Verdian. Thrilled to share a major milestone from the team at Quant. Today, we launched Quant Fusion, the foundational infrastructure layer that makes true digital asset interoperability a reality. Fusion brings together a decade of regulated deployments, our patent overledger technology, and insights from working with institutions globally. It securely connects public and permission blockchains, eliminating the barriers that have held back enterprise adoption, from fragmentation to compliance, scalability, and trust. This is more than infrastructure. Layer 2.5 is the backbone of the next generation of blockchain-powered finance. And here we actually have from Quant Network themselves, introducing Quant Fusion, the core infrastructure for digital asset interoperability. Today marks a significant advancement in the evolution of blockchain infrastructure. We're proud to introduce Quant Fusion, a pioneering new infrastructure layer that redefines digital asset interoperability. Built on Quant's interoperability-first technology stack of overledger and foundational patents, which were proven through a decade of real-world regulated deployments, Quant Fusion interoperates and accelerates public and permission blockchains securely and compliantly, making blockchains ready for enterprise-grade demand. Fusion dramatically accelerates adoption by solving the key institutional pain points of Layer 1 blockchains, from fragmentation and compliance hurdles to scalability, speed, and security. And I do think that once people actually start to realize what Quant's doing here, I think that that's going to open everyone's eyes to just how bullish Quant actually is. Like, they are enabling full-on mass enterprise-grade adoption of these networks. Institutions want to move on chain, but today's blockchains fall short. Public blockchain networks expose sensitive data, hinder enterprise integration, and complicates security compliance. Permissioned ones isolate liquidity and create walled gardens. Bridges introduce complexity, vulnerabilities, and operational risk. Fusion solves this. Fusion is underpinned by our enterprise-grade platform Overledger, which solved interoperability in 2017. Today, we extend that work with a new approach that makes existing networks, native assets, and transactions interoperable and institution-ready. And this is all through Layer 2.5 architecture, by the way, a unique and patent multi-ledger rollup that connects multiple Layer 1s, assets, and logic flow natively across public and private chains. No bridges, no wrapped tokens, no compliance compromise. It is built on two technical foundations: multi-ledger rollup, our patent technology for execution and settlement across multiple Layer 1s in a single network. It merges transparency and decentralized trust with performance, scalability, and security. Network of networks, modular integration of nodes and chains with granular permissions and native privacy. Fusion unlocks a new class of use cases for digital assets as well. Seamless interaction between permissioned and public networks and their native tokens. Trusted access to public liquidity through KYC verified nodes, ensuring compliance without sacrificing scale. Elimination of wrapped tokens. Assets from different blockchains can be paired natively in liquidity pools, reducing risk and complexity. A unified digital asset model where a single token exists across an interconnected network of blockchains. Issue multi-chain assets underpinned by combinations of underlying assets on any chain. Fusion's DevNet is live today. It launches with Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, EVM compatibility, e.g. MetaMask and Ether.js support. QNT is native token for fees, access via Quant Connect account. And then we also have the roadmap, which, by the way, the roadmap is extremely bullish. Big shout to Tokenizer. He actually works with me on a few things. Some interesting roadmaps and timelines on the Overledger Fusion docs. What's especially eye-catching is the bring your own node feature, leveraging QNT staking and QNT rewards. Translation: gateways, nodes, and QNT staking is going to be coming in a very big way. The time frame, just a small number of months away. And once this goes live, I'm telling you guys right now, okay, QNT is already extremely scarce. With staking, it's going to lock a ton of QNT up, which means the supply for QNT could easily reach a supply shock. This makes QNT so much more bullish than ever before. And the overall time frame here, within a few months, this is in perfect time for the bull run to really heat up, and in my opinion, alt season to hit the space in a massive way. Now is the time where you want to be paying attention to these types of projects that continue to make a ton of noise and also continue to innovate more and more than ever before. I'm very excited about the future of QNT. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.